Two, one. Welcome back to another episode of Fully Stoked Podcast. I am your host, Sarah Stokes, and I am here with another friend of mine, Lu Tandazo. And Lu is so well connected. I see her everywhere, all over social media, all over LinkedIn. She is fantastic. I am so excited about this talk. Ladies and gentlemen, Lu is a mindset coach for life and business, and she has so much to share, so much wisdom. So buckle up, get ready, here we go. But first, let me introduce myself and what this is. Fully Stoked is a podcast where we interview pretty much anybody and we talk about all kinds of things, but this is our entrepreneur series, and Lu is definitely an expert in entrepreneurship. So I can't wait to dig in. So by day, I am a lender. I help people with home financing, refinancing, purchasing homes, things like that. What I really, really enjoy doing is connecting people in the community and interviewing people like Lu. She's an expert in her field and she has so much to share. And guys, her services are not free. So what she's sharing on here is really important information that you would have to pay for any other time. So this is going to be rich with information. I am so excited to dig in. My notes are thorough. Lu did a great job. Yes, I don't. So this might be a two-part series. We were just talking and there is so much to cover. Lu said we could talk for well over an hour. And I said, okay, well, let's go as far as we can. And then if we need to revisit it, we can have a part two. Lu, if you're willing. I'm so excited you're here. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here, Lu.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
I know. I was saying, I see you everywhere. You are all over. Your LinkedIn is solid. I aspire to be your level of LinkedIn. It's just really good, really good. But yeah, I learned something with all of her posts and your pictures recently. My Lu's amazing. Oh
I
my
am
gosh,
so
she's
amazing photographer.
incredible.
Yes,
It's
yes.
just so beautiful. Yes.
I've worked with many photographers before, but I have to say it's not just the quality of the pictures, it's also the experience and how she makes you feel during the sessions. And even though, most people say, oh yeah, I photograph pretty well, right? It doesn't mean I'm typically comfortable in a photo shoot session. It just doesn't feel natural, right? And she knows how to make it fun, how to make you feel confident, how just to make you feel super comfortable. And honestly, that's her talent. Yes. And
Yes.
capturing, for me, I will say what I appreciate the most about her, she really captured who I am and what I'm about. And that's hard to
She
do.
did. She absolutely did. I love the dress you were wearing. Guys, go check her out on social media. You can see Lu on social media, but the dress is gorgeous. The pictures are amazing. And you're doing some really cool posts with some of the branding photos that she did. So I can't wait to work with. I have worked with her in the past, but I haven't done a branding photo shoot yet. So I'm super excited to do that. But anyway, so let's get on to really, well, that is part of the meat, I guess, is branding. That's part of your business. So I'm glad we talked about that and connecting people that you know are really good in their craft. Like, how do you say her name? Mialuz or Mialuz?
Maya Luz, yes.
Mialuz, yeah. And so that's something you do really, really well. But let's talk about your mindset coaching and how you work with entrepreneurs and career professionals. And just kind of give us a brief professional background because you haven't always been a mindset coach. What brought you here?
Oh, so my personal journey is what brought me here. I've had an interesting path. I started out, I'm from France originally, and I always had that dream of just going to the US. At least I will say in the high school years, I knew I wanted to teach abroad in an English speaking country, and I knew I wanted to teach French. That was something I already knew. And so ultimately, that's what I started doing. I started teaching French in New Jersey. I did a little bit in the Boston area too, and moved on to North Carolina. And I came at a crossroad where they were having budget cuts. And for me, not that they were cutting my position, but they were cutting down my programs, where instead of being able to teach French 1 through 4 in high school, I was only going to teach French 1 and 2. And you probably all know, teaching, it has to be something you're really into. Because I made that promise to myself. I never want to be that grumpy teacher. Like, if I'm showing up for those high school kids, I'm going to show up because I love it. And when they did that, that took the motivation away. Like, for me, the whole fulfillment, because you don't get paid that much as a teacher, the whole fulfillment was to see my kids from knowing nothing to becoming fluent in French. I took that personally as a sign, and I'm big into like trusting, hey, sometimes life happens in a certain way for a reason. And I took that as a sign to pivot. And I started then my career into HR, ultimately became the head of HR for a company. Um, Long story short, ended up doing leadership coaching for another company, did employee relations, all kinds of things like this, helping managers lead high-performing teams. But I came at a crossroad where I felt stuck professionally. I wanted to do more, but I didn't see anything that really was aligned with me. And honestly, personally, my relationship with my husband at the time, we were on the brink of divorce. And this was going to be my second divorce. And I was like, Lou, what's wrong with you? And this is at the time that then my mentor just reappeared. When I pivoted from teaching to HR, by the way, this was a difficult move because most people rejected me. I was labeled as a teacher. It was not easy to transition. And so
Hey,
I had
me
no,
too. I was a
I,
teacher also. It was difficult to transition, but I'll tell you what, your teaching skills have probably made you a much better coach.
yes, agreed,
Hmm.
agreed. But I had, done some personal development when I did the pivoting, which I know helped me. So when I found myself really stuck again, I turned to personal development. My mentor, Bob Proctor, reappeared at that time in my life, and I started really digging deep. Within 3 weeks of working with Bob, my relationship with my husband turned around. And I was like, whoa, this stuff is amazing. And then doors started opening professionally. So I was in one position in my corporate company, and then I got selected to work in a brand new department that they were creating on something I was actually much more passionate about. Like there were 300 people that raised their hand, and I was one of the five that they picked. I still don't know how, other than this work. That's all I can say. And so I really started realizing this is so powerful. Um, and ultimately, my mentor always mentioned, "Hey, you have the opportunity of starting your own business with us and becoming a coach." And I was terrorized. I'm going to tell you this. I was terrorized. I really thought I didn't have what it takes to become a business owner, right? And I was scared to death. But ultimately, doing the work, you learn to actually do the things you fear. And that's what led me to actually start my business because I realized how much this work changed my life, my quality of life. And I don't think I've ever been so happy, so fulfilled, so calm. I don't think I even knew I was a warrior, but I was. And so today I help, small business owners mostly really grow their business, look at where they're stuck, what holds them back, but also self-doubt, imposter syndromes, learning how to sell without feeling salesy and pushy because that I struggled with that when I started my business big time. And like I said, when I started my business, I didn't feel like confident at all. I was very proficient in my career, in my corporate career, but I lost all my confidence when I started my business. So these are some of the things I help business owners do, as well as just looking at what habits are creating your results and are keeping you stuck. So that's really a lot of the work I do, and helping those who are like me, are in a corporate setting and are looking to transition maybe into business but need that hand holding. Because yes, it is a scary step. And especially for me, since I was the main breadwinner, it was a big move. I had to make sure I couldn't fail at this, and it was a lot of pressure. Yeah.
It's wonderful. So, what do most people misunderstand about mindset and inner narratives? And I know that's one of the things you work on with them. What do you find that
Yeah.
most people misunderstand?
A lot of people think, oh, it's just thinking positively. It's not that. It's
Um,
truly embodying a new identity. And I want you to think about all your thoughts, all your feelings, and all your behaviors are derived based on your identity, what you believe to be true about yourself.
that's good.
And once you understand this and learn to apply it, everything changes. Absolutely everything changes, right? And I can look at it as even from just like starting business owner, right? If you keep on thinking of yourself like, well, I'm just a newer business owner, I'm just learning, things are challenging for me, right? This is the story you're telling yourself. This is literally what you're inviting into your life. And your behavior, your habits are going to reflect that. Versus if you think of yourself like, I'm a highly successful business owner, I guarantee you, you're going to be much better at making decisions. Your habits are going to be very different. You're going to be much more productive. You're going to take bigger risks. All of this derives from your identity.
So you work with people on their identity, helping them figure that out. You're so right. I think about I've interviewed like tons of coaches before, and that the way that you just laid it out is just very straightforward, and it's very accurate. Because if you continue to have that self-doubt and the imposter syndrome, I hear so many people say imposter syndrome, then that's the story, that's the narrative you're telling yourself, and then you're right, and then your actions. I mean, all the research says that. So I just love that you led with that, because that is truly the most important thing. And gosh, I do need a coach. I've interviewed so many coaches. What kind of coach do I need? And I guess what you should do if you're looking for a coach, Lu, from your position, how would you say that the viewers could choose a coach? Because we are bombarded with coaches. I just want you to know that as business owners, I get messages from coaches, not only on social media, not only on email, but like in my networking circles, there are tons of them. So how can we decide who we fit best with?
Honestly, personally, I look at how does that, and it's very untraditional. Most coaches are going to tell you, look at, do they have the results that you want? That's one factor. That's not the only factor, personally.
Yeah.
How does that person make you feel? Can they relate to you? Do you feel like they understand you? Do you feel that they're going to give you the time and the guidance that you feel is right for you? And I'm going to say this, intuitively, you already know the answer. You may be bombarded with sales messaging, but you already know, yes or no, that person is right for me. Our bodies already have the answers.
Intuitively, what you're saying?
Yes, intuitively, you will know that person has something I need to learn. Like it's like almost like we're guided internally. And I'm a big believer that in your lifetime, you'll go through multiple coaches. It's not just the one coach. Because for every stage of your journey, each person is going to bring something different. And I'm going to say something that one of my former clients shared with me. He said, Lu, I'm so glad I did you first. And because then he went with another business coach that was much more strategic focused. And he said, I wouldn't have been able to handle what she gave me if I hadn't worked with you first.
That's good.
And so it's looking at, what do I need right now? And then you're going to know this is the right person. Like you're going to say, oh, I feel like I should work with that person. You'll feel it inside of you.
Okay, so how can I'm just going to go with this for another moment. It's not really on script, but I do think it's important because I've heard this conversation with a lot of the ladies that I'm friends with and that have businesses. And they say the same thing. It's like, how do we know what their stats are? Like, how can we look it up? It's not like they have a database where it's like success rate is, like how, I guess we look at people's reviews. We look at your website to find out who you've worked with, things like that. Is there anything else that you can think of that we can use to vet a coach?
Ask good questions.
Okay.
What matters to you? Look at what are you trying to get from that coaching? Okay. And really ask pertinent questions like ask them, how would you guide me through this? Like literally ask them, how would you help me? What is your process? Because you want to make sure that what you're hoping to get is truly what they offer. Right? Mm-hmm. Because sometimes you're hoping to get something and you sign up for something, but you're like, this is not what I was really hoping for.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And it may not take, now, hopefully there's still going to be some growth, right? Because your own mindset is going to play into this. If you truly believe that's going to help you, I guarantee you your success rate will be much higher versus if you're skeptical.
Yeah.
When it's looking at what matters to me in my coaching relationship.
Okay.
Where am I trying to go? And how do you get people through this? And if you feel like, yes, I feel like this plan is actually what I need, then go for it.
I have an idea for you because I love all of your social media. I absolutely love it. And you bring a lot of value, especially I love all your LinkedIn stuff too. But anyway, if you could for me, it is hard to know the questions to ask, really, because I know that I need a coach. I just don't, that's my dog. I just don't know what I need a coach for, or else I could probably address the issues myself. So maybe if you did some type of talk, and you're coming to talk to the Union County Network of Women in the near future, and I would like for you to do some additional things if you'd like to in collaboration, and we can get you in front of more people, because I really do love your central message. This is what I think it is we are enough, comparison is unnecessary, competition doesn't exist. Anything we want is simply a mindset shift. Is that correct?
It is.
Okay, so that is what your central message is. And I love that. And I would like to get you in front of some different women. Do you do coaching online as well as in person? So if it was somebody who's
actually,
okay.
even though I meet people in person initially, all my coaching is online. From a productivity standpoint, we do the actual sessions online.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, I'll definitely get with you on maybe some additional dates and locations and things, and because I really like that. But if you ever wanted to, I think that would be cool. Like for a person who's new at this and very, very much a novice, like I don't know where to begin with a coach. I don't even know the questions to ask. So maybe you could do like, here's a 101 on the questions to ask when you're selecting a coach. I don't know. I'd appreciate it. And I think you're very good. So obviously, but let's talk about confidence and self-doubt and imposter syndrome. Do you find that a lot of people, not just women, but people in general, have imposter syndrome, or is it just some people?
Most people do.
Oh, that's good to know.
Even the ones that you think don't. Even the highly successful people who you think, oh, they got it together, they also have imposter syndromes and self-doubt.
How about that? That's really interesting.
Yes, except that they may not talk about it as openly unless they talk about it with their coach, right? Because again, there's that pressure of like, I look like I'm successful, so I shouldn't. Then it's in conflict with the identity they internally feel, but yet are portraying on the outside, right? So this is where you wonder, how much of it is really shared. But I'm telling you, most highly successful people have some level of imposter syndrome as well.
Oh, yeah. That's fantastic. That's fantastic to know. I was listening to this master class. I got that app, and I was listening to Vanessa Van Edwards. I love it. Vanessa Van Edwards. And she was just saying a couple of things that resonated when you were talking earlier, but she said authenticity is very important in anything you do, but usually, you remember how you said you'll know if you can work with a coach. You'll just know intuitively. That intuitiveness is usually decided within 1/10 of a second when you meet someone, and it has to do with how they come across to you initially. The handshake, the hands, the talking, charisma, all that good stuff. But also you have to be, especially working with a coach, you have to dig a little deeper. So, but I think authenticity seems to be an important thing. So even when people maybe are not sharing their most vulnerable parts of their personality, if they are dealing with imposter syndrome, I think it's pretty cool that you're saying most people do. Most people deal with it. So they're being authentic and they're not lying to us necessarily.
No.
Yeah, but
Because they're not putting up as much about that. That's exactly it.
Yeah, because we all kind of deal with it at some point or another, right? All right. So escaping the hustle cycle. We do have societal pressure to grind harder and faster and constantly perform 24/7 and always, be doing something on my phone, social media, this, that, and the other. So like burnout happens, right? So how is it that a coach, you can help with burnout? How do you address that?
I look at what's causing the burnout. And so a lot of the time, it could even be mental overwhelm. Like one of my clients, I will say, she's like, Lu, I just feel like I'm burning out because I'm just overwhelmed. And it could be because you keep everything in your head. And so one of the strategies, like, okay, stop putting everything down, like planning it on the map, and suddenly you can relax, right? But a lot of the burnout also comes from the fact that we feel like we have to hustle, and that if we're not hustling, we're not productive and our business is not going to grow. That's a lie.
Guilty.
And I fell into it too, to be honest, Sarah, and that's why I speak about this because, and part of it is my upbringing. My parents were always like, do, do, do. So it became my paradigm. It became my mode of operation, right? This is just who I am. I'm just a do, do, do kind of person, right? And you unconsciously, right, that with the cultural expectations, like, you got to put in the time, you got to work hard, right? All of these things, you start telling yourself, if you're not doing those things, you're not productive and you're not gonna succeed. You unconsciously make those associations. And this is where the trap is, right? Because you unconsciously associated success with hustling. And when you learn to dissociate the two, no, they don't have to be equal, right? This is not what leads to success. And if I actually look at the data and science and look at the fact that if I actually slow down, do less, but focus on truly what matters. So if you look at really your calendar, you're going to notice like a lot of the time you do the same things, but it doesn't mean they're giving you a big ROI.
Mm-hmm.
And we get caught up in doing more, especially, and we push more, especially when we see that the results are not coming. Our default mechanism is let me do more. That becomes like the default. When really it's not going to give you more. There's a point of no return, first of all, but are you truly doing the things that matter? And I guarantee if you take this time to slow down, your mind is able to then think more clearly and realize, oh, this is actually not giving me a return. Let me just focus on this one thing and this one thing only that actually gives you the 80%. Yes. So it's the burnout comes from looking at your patterns, looking at the beliefs you've associated with it, right? Because like I said, sometimes we associate productivity, we associate success with doing more. And teaching yourself. For me, it was a big, big thing to teach myself because I would always like, oh, there's always something to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And realizing no. And when you intentionally start building in those, I've built in moments where just every day, right? Not only do I always take a lunch break, a walk, unless it's raining, right? But I always take that break over lunchtime, but also throughout the day, every about 2 hours, I take a full break to like meditate, stretch, listen to some relaxing music, to completely let my mind actually bring down and maybe do breath work. I love breath work as well. To come back down and recenter. And you're going to notice you have a surge of energy, you feel more balanced, your mind thinks more clearly, and you just want more productive.
So did you say you take a full 2 hour break or every 2 hours you
Every
take?
2 hours, I take a break. It could be 15 minutes, but that 15 minutes, most people think, oh, but I could do so much in that 15 minutes. That's the hustle mentality. And I guarantee you, if you truly try it for a week and take that 15-minute break plus your lunch break, you're going to notice, oh my gosh, I'm not burnt out, I'm not exhausted, and I got just as much done, if not more.
That's wonderful. Probably because you took the break.
Yes,
You're
because you took the
sharper.
breaks. You're sharper, you're more relaxed. Because if you'll notice when you get overwhelmed and you're like, oh my gosh, I got all these things to do, your mind starts spinning. You don't even know where to start, and you actually are not very productive whatsoever.
Yeah, I agree. Well, let's talk
Yeah.
about being salesy. So you are doing a book study right now. I missed the first one because my flight was delayed and I wasn't able to go to it last Tuesday, I think.
Yeah, I did a
Or
workshop on selling not without feeling awkward.
selling without feeling awkward. That's right. That's what it was. So are you gonna have a part two, or you think you might do that workshop again?
I might do it in the fall, not immediately, but any person that works with me, this is something we always dig into anyway.
And I love that you do workshops because it gives everybody a little sneak peek of what they would get if they worked with you.
Yes, that was the goal.
Yeah.
Just to get to experience that, and we did role playing and all of this, just to ultimately solidifying the information. I'm not here just to teach you more. You've gone to many sales courses. That's not what you need. It's learning to apply it without feeling awkward. And we feel salesy because of beliefs and experiences. So, for example, I'll say me, right? As you know, I didn't come from an entrepreneurship background. I had never been in sales before. My only experiences with sales was some poor car salesmen and the people who knock on my door who were very pushy. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So unconsciously, I formed a belief around selling that selling is pushy, salesy, forcing somebody to do something that they don't want to do,
Right.
but unconsciously. So now I'm going out there, I'm trying to sell because I'm a business owner. And yes, I want to help people. But in the back of my mind is, Lou, don't be that pushy, salesy person. And every time I try to close a sale, I was like, oof, I cannot close because I don't want to sound salesy and pushy like the card salesman. That's what happens. It's automatic trigger.
Yes.
And so it's about rewriting the story about what you believe about selling, truly rewriting that paradigm, that belief, right? And so shifting your perception around selling is a big one, but also then it's practicing a different feeling about sales, right? And learning to serve. And one of the best things that helped me is like, hey, if you found the best spot in town, like a great restaurant, wouldn't you be telling all of your friends about it?
That's true. Yeah. So it wouldn't be pressuring them into sales. It would be giving them a service, like doing a service
Yes.
to them.
Like you'd be so
Remind
excited to
them.
share it. That's the shift, right?
Oh, that's right. I love it.
And the moment you look at you selling that way, oh my God, I'm just recommending something that's amazing for somebody
Yeah.
that would benefit them. That's
Yeah.
all I'm doing. That's how sales is supposed to be.
Yep. I love it.
Right.
So it's a service.
It's a
It's a
service.
service to people. Yes. I love that. So your specific multiple professional reinventions have shaped your philosophy. We've heard about as a teacher, how I know firsthand that can help you, teach people things like coaching, obviously. And then your sales experience because you felt, you had that, you don't want to be salesy. So thank you for talking about that. And then you even told us a little bit about your personal life challenges and how your mentor, Bob, who do you mind sharing who Bob is?
Yeah,
Bob
Bob
Proctor.
Proctor.
Okay. Okay. So how working with Bob actually helped your personal life even. Is that right?
Yes. And
That's
that's one of the things
amazing.
I do with my clients. I never take just your business. We look at both the personal and the professional because I
Oh, I
know
love,
how intertwined they are. They
yeah.
they they feed on each other. If your personal life is a mess, I'm sorry, it's going to impact your business. Same if your business is in a crisis, it's going to impact your personal life. Can't just take one piece of it and just pretend the rest doesn't exist.
So with all of that in mind, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
So, failure, okay, whether it's real or perceived, failure exists, and they say what does not kill us makes us stronger. But I've met so many people, and it seems like the ones who have had failures, major failures, if they keep going, right, then they're going to have major successes. Is it possible to go your whole life, professional or personal, without having small and large failures? I have had many failures. I'm just asking. I mean,
Okay, can I be totally transparent?
please.
The only reason you wouldn't have major failures is because you didn't try anything.
Oh, that's
You
good.
didn't take any risks. Because
You got
I'm
a risk?
no risk,
So
no
most
failure.
people do. They do.
Most people are gonna have to take risk. You take a risk on choosing somebody as a life partner. You take
Yeah.
a risk when you take on a job. You could take a risk when you start a business. You always take risks. And the bigger the risks, yes, but there are opportunities that really give you feedback and lessons that help you get to the next level. And so it's reframing. It's not a failure. It's like, what is this? For me, I look at it today as like, okay, what do I need to learn from this?
So good.
And that's the way I start
Good.
looking at it. And not taking it as a personal failure. It's like, okay, what can I do better? What do I need to learn? It's a growth opportunity because otherwise we take it personally, and that's not the point.
Okay. All right. So let's do like a real time, like coaching moment. Okay.
Yeah.
Last week, I had two in my mind. They were failures. They were business relationships, but things that I wish I would have handled differently. And they were poorly handled. They were very professional. But as I look back, you know how you rewrite the story. Oh, I should have done this, this, and this. Oh, that stinks. I wish I would have done this, and that kind of perseverate on it. And I'm like, I really wish I would have done this instead. But they were actually really minor. You know, if we had time and you were my coach, you would say, okay, it's probably, I mean, I see how it's a big deal to you, but it's in the grand scheme of life, nothing. But it still bothers me. And I've noticed those two things that happened last week, even though the overall week was incredible. And I grew so much in my career last week just because of these interactions. It's still back here. And I'm still kind of dealing with, oh, you should have handled that differently. It didn't come out poorly. Everything was okay. But I think I'm holding on to it as part of a mindset where I'm just criticizing myself.
You're judging yourself. That's exactly what's happening. You're judging yourself.
A lot of times I can let go of it and move on because I don't have a choice. But for some reason, that's still like undone in my head. How would you help me, if you were working with me, kind of move on past that?
You have a few options.
Okay.
So I personally like to, I like forgiveness letters for that kind of exercise, where you literally either write a forgiveness letter to that person. You don't have to mail it, but the whole process is like you can literally get it out because right now you're ruminating it and you're keeping it inside. You got to get it out. Like one of the biggest things I learned from my mentor is get the problem out. Okay. There's three things I'm going to give you. Okay. The first one is get it out and write maybe a forgiveness letter to that person saying, hey, I'm sorry. I wish I would have done this differently. Right? Kind of thing. The number two letters, writing a forgiveness letter to yourself. Forgiving yourself for this. Okay. The third exercise is put that on the table. It's a fact. And then I want you to put yourself in somebody else's shoes that you like and respect. And I want you to sit in their shoes and look at that problem from their perspective and sit with it. And
so from someone that you respect, put yourself in their shoes and see how they would look at the situation.
They would look at it.
Okay.
Because right now you're stuck in your own, in the way you feel about it yourself.
Right.
What about if you could see, how would I feel about it from this perspective? And you're literally training your nervous system to feel about it differently. That's what it's about.
And that changes your mindset, right?
Yes.
That's also how you change your mindset. You train your nervous system to think differently. That is fantastic. That is really, really, really good. I wish everything was perfect and there was never conflict.
But no, it's actually good. If it was perfect, think about it. If it was perfect, you wouldn't seek growth. You wouldn't seek to do more things.
Yeah.
And everything was hunky dory. And and I think that's one of the biggest things, right? I learned is the law of opposites. There can't be a good without a bad. There can't be a hot without a cold. For you to know the light, you have to know the dark. For you to experience happiness, you also have to be able to experience sadness because you wouldn't know what happiness is otherwise.
Yeah, that's so good.
And so that moment is like, it gives you contrast to appreciate the other stuff even more.
Yeah. So all of the hard things in our lives grow us to become these older versions of ourselves that are wiser. We have wisdom now. And, I can tell I'm 49. Am I 49? I think I'm 48. I'm only 48. I'll be 49 in 2 months. But I'm half a century old. And my children say that I am so laid back and that their friends think I'm so laid back. And I'm like, me of all people, because in my younger days, I was not the laid back one, but I think it just has to do with all of those failures that I had, and I appreciate them. So I see the value in them, and I do see the value in conflict because it grows us and it creates new, what did you say? You would never grow. So new growth.
Versions of yourself. Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you. You've given me a big pep talk. Seriously, I think I just love your information. I would love for you to do a workshop, and I know you do them all the time for your business, but if you ever want to do it in collaboration with one of our business or women's groups, gosh, they would really appreciate it. I know. So
let us know. Yes.
Yeah. You're full of information and wisdom, and I'm so glad that our paths cross, Lu. You're fantastic.
Me too.
Yeah. I've enjoyed our time together. so much, but I want to make sure everybody knows how to get in touch with you because everybody's going to want to come and work with you now. So Dream into Success coaching, and you do events like workshops and things like that and public speaking. So you can follow her and me because she's going to obviously be doing some public speaking with some of my groups, and I'll let you know about that. Your website is www.dreamtosuccessnow.com.
Dream into success now.
Sorry, dreamintosuccessnow.com. And I will put it all in the summary and in the social media below. And we've got your phone number. Your email is lou@dreamintosuccessnow. You're on Facebook. You're on Instagram. I told y'all to get on LinkedIn and follow this woman because she's the best LinkedIn hustler I have seen. Yeah. And do you have a YouTube channel?
I do, yes. So I can put that in there, yes.
Well, and I'll collaborate with you
on that.
Yeah, I'll collaborate with you on YouTube so they can just click the link and they can see you as well.
Perfect.
I just love all of this information. Can I ask you a couple little rapid fire questions about you personally? What is your favorite go-to coffee house drink?
Right now I am drinking mushroom coffee because
I'm like the third person to say that.
I'm
That's
big into the health, natural health and health benefits. So this is what I'm doing lately, especially since traditional coffee I shouldn't be drinking because it creates inflammation for me. So this is my go-to.
I think it creates inflammation from everyone. I've had integrative holistic doctors say that. Yeah, that's amazing. Wonderful. I'm gonna get on the mushroom coffee kick. I was for a while, and then I got off because I really like coffee. But
Coffee.
All right. So what is your favorite dessert, or do you do no dessert because you're so healthy?
So I don't eat as many desserts as I used to, but my favorite dessert, because I'm French, oh gosh, there's so many, but
I
probably
know.
just a good old chocolate melting cake will do the trick for me. However, my favorite from childhood is a cherry tart.
Ooh, that
Yes,
sounds lovely. Do you bake at all?
I can. Yes.
I bet you can. Where in France are you from?
The
Which
Loire
part?
Valley.
Oh, what a beautiful place. Oh my goodness. And you left. Do you ever go visit?
Yes, we're gonna go back this summer, actually, spend some time and do some more Europe travels. Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Are you a morning or a night person?
I am a
Night.
night owl.
Are you? I thought for sure you'd say morning.
Gosh, I cannot tell you. I have worked on this for a long time, but I also realized, it is very funny because as coaches, we're like, oh no, you got to get up at 5 in the morning and do all this. And I'm big into having my morning routine. So I'm big into having my morning routine to set my day. But
Yeah,
otherwise, my natural rhythm, no, I'm not a morning person. I'm a night person. It is what it is.
I am
And
too. I'm working on the 5 a.m. club. I've been working on it for a year and a half now. I'm still working on it. Sometimes I can get it done, but as you know, when you work for yourself, sometimes when the business is there, you need to work and get it all done so you don't lose the business. You can sleep in an hour or two tomorrow if you need to, but I am
Mhm.
working on it. So, Lou, you are such a pleasure to have this great conversation, and I know you're going to help so many people. I cannot wait to work with you in the future. Can't wait to have you come speak to some of my women's groups because this is valuable information, and I'm just so thankful that you were willing to share it on the podcast here. So,
Thank you for
anyway, I appreciate.
me.
Yeah, it was wonderful, and I think I'm going to see you Thursday or something like that. So we're gonna have
Yes,
coffee. Yeah.
yes, yes,
All
yes.
right. All right. Take care. Thank you, Lou. I'll
Bye,
talk to you
Sarah.
soon. Until next time, guys. See you next time. Bye bye.
Bye.